You think your dog is happy because they wag their tail when you come home. You've been reading that signal your whole life, but there are 6 other things happening in those moments. Things your dog is communicating through their body, their breath, their choices that you've been missing completely. By the time we reach number 7, you'll understand your dog is speaking a language you never learned to hear. Subscribe to the channel, because what comes next will change every interaction you have with your dog. Number 1. The stare isn't what you think it is. Your dog stares at you while you eat dinner, and you assume they want food. That's the surface read, the one that makes you feel guilty or annoyed, depending on your mood. But research from animal cognition labs shows that prolonged eye contact between dogs and humans triggers oxytocin release in both species, the same bonding hormone that flows between mothers and infants. Your dog isn't just begging. They're trying to maintain a chemical connection that makes them feel safe. When a dog holds your gaze, their parasympathetic nervous system activates, heart rate drops, cortisol levels fall. They're not manipulating you for scraps. They're regulating their emotional state through you. Studies published in behavioral science journals reveal that dogs who make frequent eye contact with their owners show lower anxiety markers and stronger attachment security than dogs who don't. Your dog learned thousands of years ago that human faces hold answers, that your expressions telegraph safety or danger, approval or rejection. That stare at the dinner table is your dog checking in, asking if you're still their secure base, confirming the bond is intact. Every time you look away or tell them to stop, you're refusing a moment of connection they're actively building. The food is secondary. The eye contact is the point. Number 2. They know when you're about to leave before you do. You haven't touched your keys yet. You haven't put on your shoes, but your dog is already anxious, already following you from room to room with that specific tension in their body. You think they're psychic. Behavioral scientists know they're reading a sequence you don't realize you're performing. Dogs have been shown to recognize pre-departure routines with startling precision, picking up on subtle changes in your movement patterns, your breathing rhythm, even the micro-expressions that cross your face when you mentally prepare to leave. Research from canine cognition centers demonstrates that dogs can detect routine sequences up to 20 steps deep, linking behaviors you perform 40 minutes before departure to the final act of walking out the door. Your dog isn't anxious about you leaving in this moment. They're anxious about the pattern they've already recognized, the inevitable conclusion they've learned to predict. When you check your phone in a certain way, when you glance at the clock with that particular expression, when you move through the house with departure efficiency instead of relaxed presence, your dog's brain is firing predictions based on thousands of previous observations. They've built a database of your pre-exit behaviors, and their stress response activates the moment the sequence begins. This is why calming them at the door doesn't work. The anxiety started long before, triggered by signals you didn't know you were sending. Your dog wishes you understood that their distress isn't about the goodbye itself, but about the pattern they've learned to read in your body before you've consciously decided to go. Number 3. The thing they do with their paws means something specific. Your dog puts their paw on your leg, and you think it's cute. You might push it off if you're busy, might pet them if you're not. But ethologists who study canine communication have identified paw placement as one of the most intentional gestures in a dog's behavioral repertoire. When a dog deliberately places a paw on a human, they're not asking for attention in some vague general way. They're requesting a specific form of engagement they've learned gets results. Studies examining canine intentional communication show that dogs modify their paw-placing behavior based on your responses, increasing frequency when it works, changing placement or pressure when it doesn't. Your dog has been running experiments on you, learning which contexts and which paw positions trigger the response they want. A paw placed high on your thigh means something different than one resting on your foot. Quick taps communicate differently than sustained pressure. Your dog is speaking with precision, and you've been treating it like random touch. Research published in animal behavior journals reveals that paw placement correlates with specific neurological states in dogs, particularly activation in brain regions associated with intentional communication and social bonding. When your dog reaches for you with their paw, they're not being needy. They're using one of the few tools they have to bridge the species gap, to communicate a specific need or desire they can't voice. They wish you would stop dismissing it as generic attention-seeking and start noticing the patterns, the contexts, the variations that carry meaning. Number 4. They're not being stubborn when they stop on walks. You're trying to get home. Your dog plants their feet and refuses to move. You pull the leash, you coax, you get frustrated because this feels like defiance. But canine behavioral research shows that when dogs stop moving during walks, it's almost never about dominance or stubbornness. It's about sensory overload, fear, or critical information processing. A dog's olfactory system contains up to 300 million scent receptors compared to your 6 million. Every few steps, they're downloading information about who passed this spot, when, what emotional state they were in, whether there's danger ahead. When your dog stops moving, their brain is processing a sensory flood you can't begin to perceive. Studies from veterinary behaviorists reveal that forced movement during these processing moments increases cortisol and can create lasting anxiety around walks. Your dog isn't refusing to walk. They're managing an overwhelming input stream, trying to make sense of a world that smells like a novel you can't read. Sometimes they stop because something in the environment triggers a fear response you haven't identified, a sound frequency you can't hear, a scent marker from a threatening dog, a visual stimulus their motion-detecting eyes caught that your slower vision missed. Your dog wishes you understood that stillness is communication, that when they refuse to move, they're telling you something important about their internal state or the external environment. Pulling harder doesn't solve the problem. It just teaches your dog that you don't listen when they speak. Number 5. The way they sleep near you is a choice that means everything. Your dog could sleep anywhere in the house. They have a bed, they have comfortable spots, they have options, but they choose to sleep pressed against your leg, or just outside your bedroom door, or in whatever position keeps you in their line of sight. You might think it's just habit or preference. Research into canine attachment behaviors reveals it's a calculated decision about safety and social bonding. Studies examining where dogs choose to rest show that sleep location is one of the most significant indicators of attachment security and perceived relationship quality. Your dog is vulnerable when they sleep. Their predator-descended brain knows this. By choosing to sleep near you, they're making a statement about trust that goes deeper than daytime affection. They're saying you're their safe base, their pack, the presence that makes vulnerability tolerable. Behavioral scientists studying canine sleep patterns have found that dogs who sleep in physical contact with their humans show different REM cycle patterns than dogs who sleep separately, suggesting the proximity itself changes their neurological state. Your dog's nervous system literally functions differently when you're near. They're not just being clingy. They're regulating their sense of safety through your presence. Wild canids sleep in contact with pack members for warmth, protection, and social bonding. Your dog is doing the same thing, choosing you as their pack, making themselves vulnerable in your presence because they've decided you're worth the risk. Every time they curl up against you, they're renewing a contract of trust. They wish you knew that the choice isn't automatic or meaningless. It's deliberate, considered, and it reveals how they see you in their world. Number 6. They notice when you're not yourself, before anyone else does. You've had a bad day at work. You're hiding it well. Your voice is normal, your movements are controlled. You think you're projecting fine, but your dog is acting different, staying closer, watching you with unusual intensity, maybe bringing you toys or resting their head on your lap. You think they're being extra needy. Research into canine emotional recognition shows they're responding to microsignals in your body chemistry, your scent profile, your autonomic responses that change with stress. Studies published in animal cognition research demonstrate that dogs can detect cortisol in human sweat, can read facial microexpressions that flash for milliseconds, can sense changes in your breathing pattern and heart rate variability that you're not consciously aware of. Your dog knows you're not okay before you fully admitted it to yourself. They're not reading your mind. They're reading your body with a precision that rivals medical detection dogs trained to identify diseases. When you're stressed, your scent changes. Your micro-movements shift. Your vocal pitch alters in ways human ears don't catch, but canine processing centers register instantly. Your dog wishes you understood that their changed behavior in these moments isn't random clinginess. It's an intentional response to distress signals they're detecting in you. They're trying to provide comfort, to offer their presence as a regulating force. Because research shows that physical contact with dogs does lower human cortisol and blood pressure. They're not being annoying. They're trying to help in the only way their biology allows. They see through your performance before anyone else does, and they respond with the tools they have. Number 7. The most important thing they need you to know about their world. Everything your dog experiences happens in the present tense. with an intensity you've learned to suppress. They don't ruminate about yesterday's walk or anticipate tomorrow's vet visit the way you do. Neurological research shows that dogs live in a state of present moment awareness that humans spend years of meditation practice trying to achieve. When your dog is happy, they're completely happy. When they're afraid, the fear is total. When they love you, there's no hedging, no holding back, no protecting themselves from potential future loss. This is what behaviorists mean when they say dogs don't hold grudges. It's not that they don't remember negative experiences. It's that they don't carry emotional resentment forward through time the way humans do. Your dog forgives you instantly for stepping on their paw, for being impatient, for leaving them alone. Because they exist in now. And now is what's happening. And if now is okay, then everything is okay. Studies examining canine emotional processing reveal that while dogs form powerful associations and memories, they don't construct the narrative interpretations humans layer onto experience. They feel everything directly, without the buffer of story or the protection of emotional distance. Your dog wishes you knew that this vulnerability is permanent, that they can't protect themselves from the intensity of their own feelings, that every moment with you is experienced at full volume. When you come home and they explode with joy, that's not performance or manipulation. That's the actual scale of their feeling, unfiltered and complete. They need you to understand that your presence or absence, your attention or dismissal, your patience or frustration lands in their nervous system without the cushion of interpretation. They're completely open to you in every moment, and they can't be any other way. Each of these 7 things builds into a relationship your dog has been maintaining with more attention and intentionality than you realized. The stare during dinner, the anxiety before you leave, the paw on your leg, the stopped walks, the sleep positions, the response to your hidden stress, the full volume presence in every moment. Your dog has been speaking this entire language while you were catching maybe 10% of the signals. They're not waiting for you to be perfect. Research into human-canine bonding shows that the relationship strength isn't built on flawless interpretation, but on consistent effort to understand. Your dog forgives your misreadings instantly because they exist in the present. And in this present moment, you're trying. That's what they needed all along. Not perfection, just attention to the communication they've been offering. When your dog curls up against you tonight, they're not just seeking warmth. They're choosing you again, trusting you with their vulnerability, speaking a language of proximity and presence that predates words by millions of years. You get to decide if you'll learn to hear it. Share this video with someone who needs to understand their dog better. Subscribe to the channel because we're dedicated to translating the language your dog has been speaking all along. Your dog has been waiting for you to listen. Now you know what to hear.